We have all clear. All right, let's walk.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the 15th annual NAMI Walks event. I'm KXAN's Josh Hinkle.
And I'm KXAN's Alyssa Gord. NAMI Walks has raised more than $3 million over the last 15 years. And I wanted to share today why this event is important to me personally. Josh and I have actually worked together for more than 3 years, and we know each other pretty well. And Josh knows that I have mental health conditions and that advocating for mental health is important to me. I wanted to share a little bit more of my story that you guys may not have heard before. When I was in elementary school, I started to become overwhelmingly afraid. I spent so much time in my head trying to deal with my fears that it actually interfered with my schoolwork and doing activities that little kids would normally do. I didn't understand why I was so afraid, and I didn't want to tell people because I was afraid that they would make fun of me. I was afraid of certain students in my classes and certain teachers. My fears ballooned to be larger than life. They would keep me up all night. They would keep me from hugging people. They would keep me from going places. I would switch the lights on and off as some form of reassurance that I was safe. My mom knew something was wrong, and so she worked with me to find a therapist who could help me. He diagnosed me with obsessive compulsive disorder. Regular therapy visits and a lot of work through the years taught me some coping strategies. It has felt really isolating at times, and working through things in my head that other people can't see or understand has been really challenging. There have been plenty of times that I've been discouraged, and those same critical voices that were in my head as a kid will return. I was fortunate to get mental health support at a young age. I've been prescribed and have been taking medications for more than 10 years now. They're an important part of managing my everyday life, along with getting good exercise, food, and sleep. Almost a year ago, I actually started seeing a therapist again regularly. It's been so valuable to me, especially during the pandemic. I know that I present to the outside world as somebody who copes generally well, so most people don't realize how challenging things can get for me. It's important for me to share this part of my life because, unfortunately, there still is stigma around mental health and around asking for help. There are still so many barriers to people who ask for help or who are trying to start therapy. And that's why it means so much for me to participate in this event with NAMI Central Texas, who is actively working right here in our own community to start breaking down some of those barriers. This is also such a vital time to talk about mental health, not only for people like me who have a diagnosis, but also for others who may not have been diagnosed and are finding that the unprecedented stress that we're experiencing during this time is leaving their mental health strained. With the dramatic changes that we've been seeing in our lives, many people are seeking out therapy for the first time and voicing their concerns to loved ones. I've actually had many people come up to me and ask for help with taking those very first and sometimes scary steps of reaching out to a mental health professional for the first time. In the last couple of years, I've tried to become more vocal about what I've experienced. There's an incredible freedom in no longer having to pretend to the outside world like those challenges don't exist. On the inside, I still have those same all-consuming fears and irrational anxieties that I did as a kid. What I have now is a better set of tools to handle them. And my hope is, Josh, by participating in an event like this and helping to support what NAMI Central Texas is doing in our community, that we can help give more resources and more tools to families and educators and coworkers and communities to help people like me in Central Texas.
Alyssa, thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'm so glad that you used that word stigma, because that's what we're trying to do, is break past that. And I know that we started working on a project last year where you first told me that same story, and we were talking about students and mental wellness and the importance of recognizing the mental health challenges with our young people. That's how I first was introduced to NAMI Central Texas and Karen Reynes, their executive director, and we worked with them on town halls and really starting this conversation about this, and that spilled over into some other work to other areas that I had not explored before, like mental health in our jail system here in Texas. So very thankful for this organization and for you sharing your story and for everything that this organization is doing.
Thank you so much, Josh. And taking those first initial steps to talk about what I've experienced with mental health through our coverage and through events like this are helpful for me, but I've also heard from other people that it's been helpful for them to hear that they're not alone. And I also want to take some time to recognize, Josh, that today would not be possible without the amazing NAMI volunteers, the staff, the board of directors, the generous sponsors who invest in our community through this event. We're so grateful, especially to Integral Care, who is a platinum sponsor here, who's actually been walking with NAMI since the very beginning of this event 15 years ago.
More than 100 teams and hundreds of walkers have committed to raising funds to support NAMI and to raise awareness of mental health in this community. Let's see what some of our teams are planning for today and why this event is so important to them.
My name is Mackenzie Ulam, and I'm the team captain for NAMI on campus at UT Austin. For NAMI Walks Central Texas, my team is engaging in self-care activities over Zoom, such as yoga, art, walking around our neighborhoods together, and baking, because we know that self-care and social connection support our mental health.
Hi, I'm Steve Witcher. I am walking for the third year in a row, and each year I increase my limit, and this year I've raised $2,000. And on the 10th, I will spend my day taking the dog for long walks and also making cookies for an event later that week for the homeless. That's how I'm going to celebrate a day of hope.
Today I walked for NAMI because I greatly appreciate our partnership with NAMI. We are building strong families. We are finding alternatives other than a jail cell for those who suffer from mental illness.
My name is Jody. I'm with the Walking Humbly team for NAMI Walks Central Texas NAMI Walks. And I walk because NAMI provides a lot of free services out to the community, and I've benefited greatly from them for dealing with bipolar flare-ups during the pandemic. Thanks.
NAMI helps us here at the Sheriff's Office with training of our officers. Between corrections officers and deputies, we know that putting people in jail is absolutely the wrong way to deal with mental illness. And so having the ability to train and work with NAMI to educate our officers on the proper way to recognize those suffering a mental health crisis and properly get them the care that they need is of the utmost importance to us, and we appreciate NAMI so very much.
Hi, I'm Marcia from Team Jake. This year we are hitting the trail in Southwest Austin for a socially distanced walk. This is our 5th NAMI walk, and we are so excited to continue our support of this fabulous organization that is so important to our community. We walk in memory of my brave son, Jake, and also to support the mission of NAMI Central Texas, and to make sure that no other family ever feels that they just don't know enough when facing mental illness. I hope you'll join us.
It's important that we support NAMI because they provide services for the families and those who have mental illness, and we offer a program at the jail called Family and Friends. Without their assistance, we wouldn't be able to do some of the things that we do. Their advocacy and support are invaluable to our population.
Hi, I'm Wanda with Team Community Arts. My why is that 1 in 5 Americans are affected by mental health issues. I want for us all to destigmatize mental health issues and make sure that there's mental health services for all. I personally have benefited from the Family to Family NAMI programming, and I can't tell you how much it has helped me and my family. You are not alone.
Hello, Team Radical Acceptance is in our 6th year, and this time I, Eric Kunish, am the team captain. Besides attending the NAMI Central Texas first and best virtual walk ever at 10 a.m. on October 10th, which is also World Mental Health Day, Team Radical Acceptance will be having our own Zoom party at around 11 o'clock. And as this year's wonderful NAMI Walks theme message says, mental health for all. Yay.
I still remember the very first walk I attended with my daughter Sarah in 2013. It was a really hot, humid day, and we'd spent the morning helping with setup. As we were leaving, I asked her what she thought about the walk, really expecting her to complain. But she smiled brightly at me, and she said, "I loved it." "Really?" I asked her. "Why?" And her response has stayed with me ever since. "Mom," she told me, "it's the first place I've ever been where someone like me is celebrated instead of shamed." Good morning. My name is Karen Reynes, and I have had the honor of being the Executive Director of NAMI Central Texas for the past 6 years. Seeing that day through her lens has forever impacted the way I think about NAMI walks. For 15 years, the walk hasn't just been a way to raise money for the work that we do. It is so much more than that. The walk is a source of hope. It's an explosion of joy. It's a time to remember, a day to dance, and a cause to celebrate. Every year, I try to take a moment to just soak it all in. I stop and I look out at the sea of faces and the wagging tails, and I am reminded of the reason why our work is so important. And Sarah's words always come back to me. What we do matters because of you. You and your families and your friends, each of us who have been touched by the challenge of navigating mental health in a flawed system of care with limited resources and a pervasive stigma and shame that we know it's so much easier when we are on that path to recovery together. So, while we may not be all in the same place today to walk, I think there's something really powerful and profound about all of us joining together today. Not just in Central Texas, but across the United States, people are doing NAMI Walks Your Way on this World Mental Health Day. We might be physically distanced, but we're still connected. connected to the belief that we have the power to transform the way our community talks about and addresses mental health. As we face the current pandemic, the heartbreaking impact of racism and inequality, as well as the stress of a highly polarized political climate, our community needs NAMI Central Texas now more than ever. A recent CDC study showed that almost 41% of respondents reported to experiencing an adverse mental health condition. Young people were about 8 times more likely to experience mental health symptoms than adults. And in the midst of distancing right now, a study has shown that loneliness has the same impact on our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. We can either let these staggering numbers overwhelm us or embolden us. And NAMI Central Texas has chosen to be emboldened. Thanks to a wonderful staff and an amazing dedicated team of volunteers, we quickly moved to virtual programming in March and have been able to continue to provide the classes and support groups and presentations and resources that our community has always counted on. I'll admit to you, I was really pretty nervous about making the shift to this virtual world, but we quickly discovered that with our dedicated volunteers and staff and the right tools, we could continue to provide our high-quality, no-cost programming. We were able to meet the needs of our community, and we also were able to create new programming developed by our volunteers. We saw participation in our programming explode. More people joined our online support groups and classes. We had a huge increase in participation in community education events, and we saw a dramatic increase in the numbers of people participating from across our 6-county service area. But most importantly, we heard from people who told us how grateful they were that they were able to access our programming online. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we were able to actually launch a brand new initiative to address some of our growing concerns about the mental health impact on our children and our teens. With the support of Impact Austin this year, we've been able to launch Lighthouse, which connects parents to our Parent Support and Resource Navigator, who can then offer valuable support and resource information needed when they're navigating mental health challenges. So when you support the work that we do, you're actually supporting mental health for all. I'm so excited to share with you that we are currently at 99% of our goal. We are so close with having raised more than $248,000. That is just amazing. We know that with your help, we can not only reach that goal today, but we can probably surpass it your way. So as we continue today with NAMI Walks, moving closer to our goal, we see all the creative and meaningful ways that people have chosen to spend the day. And as you're doing that, I hope that you will remember my daughter's words after the walk all those years ago. Today, our community celebrates you.
Integral care helps our community build health and well-being, so everyone has the foundation to reach their full potential.
We support adults and children living with mental illness, substance use disorders, and intellectual and developmental disabilities.
We look out for our clients' whole health.
The whole person, body and mind.
We have provided integrated mental and primary health care at our clinic since 2010.
Because mental health and physical health go hand in hand.
We know that poor mental health can negatively impact someone's physical health.
And chronic health conditions like diabetes can negatively impact someone's mental health.
We also know that psychiatric medications can affect someone's weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, and sleep. So we always include primary care as part of the treatment plan.
I came into integral care with so many needs. I had a lot of chronic health conditions.
Good morning.
Integral care made sure to provide me with the services I needed to get healthy.
I've had an addiction problem for 13 years. Started coming over to Integral Care, getting help with my addiction. They've helped me with housing, some dental work, and eyeglasses. Now I've been clean for about 11 months, and it feels great.
Integral Care is helping my family change our lives for the better.
I am getting better. I am making progress.
They've really helped me change my life.
It's about the whole health of a client.
Caring for the whole person.
We are a certified community behavioral health clinic.
We are Integral Care.
We are Integral Care.
We are Integral Care.
We have been a part of NAMI now since 2013. In 2012, our oldest son had a psychotic break, and it rocked our world. I felt lost and I felt hopeless. I felt confused and angry, and I had a lot of shame too at how our son was behaving.
I think that we faced a lot of the same challenges that many other families face when our daughter started presenting with symptoms of her mental health condition. This happened already in elementary school. She was diagnosed by a psychiatrist in 6th grade. So it came on fairly early. This is not that uncommon.
We as fathers tend to want to control things and make things right, fix things. I could not look at my son and fix it. In my powerlessness, I hurt so bad, all I could do was tell him I love him.
When I entered college, and this was in 2018, I started having these really high spikes in anxiety and just having a really hard time coping on a day-to-day basis with what I thought should have been very basic things for a college student to do. And I remember it starting with even me just going to pick up my key to move into my dorm.
We started with our daughter working with a therapist, and then we reached a point where the therapist said she felt like this was something that needed psychiatric intervention. And so then worked with a psychiatrist who was able to diagnose her bipolar disorder, prescribe medication. It wound up being a long journey. In our case, our daughter actually was hospitalized a couple of times, was in residential treatment for extended periods.
Living with an anxiety disorder, kind of like the default setting when you're living with an anxiety disorder is feeling unsafe and feeling like there's danger. So, everywhere you go, you're constantly scanning the room or the environment for anything dangerous or that could be off. My anxiety symptoms had gotten so bad that I was convincing myself that I was having heart problems and that I was at risk for having a heart attack or some other cardiovascular event.
I was feeling every emotion, every sadness, every pain that my son was feeling. Our family, we fell apart. Mental illness doesn't just rip that one person up, it just tears through the whole family. When we dropped Ricky off at the mental institution, and we saw the environment that our child was being left in, I couldn't even speak. When we left him there, I went to a bench and I crawled under the bench and I was crying, and it wasn't normal crying. It was like a wounded animal. I called my parents and I couldn't even speak. I had no words to express to them the pain.
When I got to campus and everything started happening and my anxiety was very heightened and I became very depressed from feeling lonely in my experience, I went to my first NAMI on campus meeting And I saw so many other people who were going through the same thing that I was.
Being able to speak honestly about what's going on, both the facts of the circumstances and how you're feeling about it, makes it possible for you to be able to receive empathy from other people and feel like you're understood and heard. And even just sometimes just to say it out loud for yourself is really powerful and moving. That's one thing that I really cherish about NAMI, is that I'm able to go and talk to other people, other parents who get it, right? Who understand what it's like to have that crisis moment, those moments of questioning and not understanding, and being able to carry on and do what you need to for your kiddo.
So I had the little post-it that the staff had given me with NAMI on it. I was encouraged that there was a resource there, and we signed up immediately for the family-to-family class. We signed the whole family up.
Prior to NAMI, it was extremely hard, and very powerless.
I think that sense of community is really part of the value that NAMI brings for people who are going through NAMI programs.
It was incredible. I saw how the tools that they were able to offer us to educate us with made an immediate impact in the way that we dealt with each other and saw things from obviously a different angle, and how we dealt with Ricky. It inspired us. Like I said, it gave us a new life of understanding what true empathy is.
That sense of community and feeling that like you're not alone is something that we did not have early on in our daughter's journey. If we had been aware of and had available to us the NAMI programs at that time, 15 years ago, that would have been phenomenal for us.
And it was just so incredible to be able to look up at someone who had been through the exact same thing that I had been through and see that they had been getting through it, and with the help of NAMI on campus. It's completely changed my life, and meeting the people there and getting to interact with everyone at other NAMI chapters has inspired me to be able to share my story with everyone and no longer feel ashamed of what I've been through.
I got to learn and realize that my son didn't ask for this illness. When he was born, he didn't ask for schizophrenia, he didn't ask for major depression, psychosis. But we had this opportunity, this chance, because what NAMI has given us the tools to understand what empathy really looks like in the mentally ill, and how to love them through this journey.
Wow, those were some really powerful voices we just heard from, and you can really tell how NAMI Central Texas's programming not only impacts people who are dealing with mental health concerns, but also the family members and loved ones who support them. It's so important during this time that we continue to share the message that our families are not alone.
One of the most powerful parts of NAMI Walks is its ability to show people that they don't have to walk alone along their journey to mental health. There are so many others who will walk alongside you and lead the way.
Right, and we'd like to recognize some of the walkers who are leading the way for reaching our NAMI Walks goals. Our top teams have collectively raised more than $57,000. We hope that you'll join us as we celebrate our top fundraisers and top teams. Let's start with the top fundraisers. We have Marilyn Hartman, our top fundraiser, who has raised more than $8,300. Our other top fundraisers include Travis County Sheriff Sally Hernandez, Eileen Gray, Marcia Oakes, and a last-minute addition to our top fundraisers leaderboard, Lulu Savino. Congratulations to all of our top fundraisers. And then for our top teams, our top team came in with $15,800. That is Housing Advocates, our top team for fundraising this year. Also in the top teams list, we have Flabbergasters, TCSO Cares, Team Jake, and the Conversation Starters. Again, congratulations to everyone for making those incredible contributions.
That's great. And lastly, we want to recognize our Walk Stars. These are the individuals who raised at least $1,000 to support mental health in the community. It's exciting to see so many right there. We have a few personal stories. I know we've shared some already, but these are ones that show that hope makes all the difference. Let's have a look.
Really, self-care for me looks like reaching out to people and being okay with making yourself vulnerable, with telling other people the struggles you've been going through. Being able to be in a place myself where I'm able to tell people that and see the look of relief on their face when I tell them, yeah, I've been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder and I get it. Being able to hear someone say that they get it it's a game changer.
One of the things that I really appreciate about NAMI programs is, normalizing mental health as part of our overall physical health, and also being able to look at mental illness as illness. Our daughter has a chronic mental illness, and it is managed well at this point. So she's doing well. And, we have aspirations for her to be able to work full time and do some things from an independent living perspective that we're not quite there yet with, but we're working on it. And so, certainly compared to where things sat, let's say 6-7 years ago, we're in a very good place.
Looking into the future now, I'm a lot more hopeful because I've been able to see everything I've been able to do while, living with mental health conditions.
Right now, we are in kind of a utopia. Ricky is back at home with us. He moved back in December of last year. And he also graduated from Austin Community College in December of last year with his associate's degree. And we are so fired up. He has a full-time job. He works out. He has to make sure that he's eating right. He has to make sure that he gets his sleep. We have to treat the mental. He does meet weekly with his therapist, medication if needed, and the spiritual aspect.
NAMI's all over the country, and so it's really likely that someone can find a chapter of NAMI near them who will take you with open arms. NAMI might be the first place that someone finds who says, I accept you as you are. You are welcome here. I get what you're going through. You're not alone. And things are going to be okay. We're here to support you. Many other people right now are going through the same things that you are, but I'm glad that you're here, and now that you're in this community with us, we can get you here and involved, and we can be your family.
And whatever positiveness you get, embrace it and relish it, because that's going to be your victorious moments to help you to go on to the next hour or the next day. Just to stay encouraged and motivated, to keep going, just keep going, keep fighting.
You are not alone.
I remember walking into the locker room in Detroit seconds after I was cut and realizing that I had spent almost 20 years of my life getting ready for this moment that now may not exist again. I began to spiral. I didn't know what to do because football was the way I coped. Football was the way that I saw the world. And when I was angry and my heart hurt, I would take it to the football field. I was blessed to be able to get to the highest levels, but no one's ready for that kind of pivot when it's over in a second. I came back to Austin and encountered the same friends and the same situations, but I was different because I didn't have the job and the title that told the world that I was important, that I was special, that I had achieved the highest heights. And all of that was gone in a second. And the spiral began and the hole became deeper, and the despair that came along with losing who I thought I was in 1 second was overwhelming. I believe that my story is a lot like a lot of you guys' story. You know, you take on the big title, you take on the big job, you go out there, but your heart hurts. You put the mask on, but you're alone and you're not able to say, I need help. I'm very thankful that I have my friends, my family, and my faith, and the people that surrounded me to help me begin a journey that I feel successful for. But there are many people out there every day who are coming in contact with the wall, with the stigma that keeps them from saying what they really need, for them being honest with themselves. Many of us are living with those people. Many of us are those people, but all of us need help. And that's why it's so important that we invest in organizations like NAMI that are on the ground, making change in communities like my community, like the Black community that tells you, don't be weak. There's no time for that. There's racial injustice. Get out there and fight. There's no time for your inside ecosystem to be where it's supposed to be. Or be a man, suck it up. Leaders lead. Don't tell anybody, you'll be weak and they'll take advantage of you. Well, NAMI comes in and changes that rhetoric so that people can say things like, I need help. I need programming. I need solutions. Because I don't understand why we have made mental health something different than it is. When I had a knee injury, I went to our physician. I went to our doctors. I got a plan. I took medicine. I got better. I got stronger. I got back on the field. And our mental health isn't any different. That's why I'm asking you today to invest in NAMI, not just with your time, but with your finances. Even though we've come close to meeting our goal, still there is more work to be done. And I promise you that every cent goes back into making these programs free for people who are like me and like you and just need to say help. Thank you guys for taking time to invest your life into something that really, really matters. There's someone out there in your family, maybe you, who needs this programming. And right now we're going to take a look at some educational videos that keeps the conversation going. Let's have a look.
I feel like I've really had at least symptoms of anxiety and depression my entire life, but because I grew up you know, in an education system that doesn't really teach about what those kinds of mental health conditions look like unless you're specifically interested in going into that field, I had no idea that I was exhibiting symptoms of anxiety and depression until I would really say my senior year of high school. There's a sense of shame in it and there's a sense of self-stigma, I will admit that, to breaking down and being like, I have a mental illness. It was so validating to be able to put a label on it because I felt so frustrated and lost just trying to figure out what was happening to me.
I mean, what I would love to see is for mental health to just be part of physical care. I visited with a pediatric medical practice earlier this year, and they have licensed counselors on staff. They are putting together a referral network so that as patients come through with physical symptoms. They're also screening for psychological and psychiatric symptoms. They're putting out referrals and being able to treat the whole child.
Why can't a person receive medication for the mind just as they do the heart, liver, kidneys, and not be looked at differently because of it? You know, that's the thing that we are also trying to educate people with, and saying, look, the brain is an organ. And also not to get angry with them, because we learned that unless you go through it, it's really hard to understand. Even so, you really won't truly understand until it lands on your doorstep. And God forbid it does, but if it does, NAMI is there.
And one thing that NAMI helps you is with the saying that you can't know what no one's ever told you.
We are truly grateful for all that our instructors have taught us and ingrained into us how to deal with this thing called mental illness.
But once we took the classes, and it was intense. It's 12 weeks, that's 3 months. You come out equipped to be able to speak to the doctors, understand the medications, understand the different illnesses, look at all the parallels from one illness to the next, which is why it's so hard to get a definitive diagnosis, and also to be able to take control of your life back.
I feel like while COVID-19 does really exacerbate mental health conditions that are already existing and bring about new symptoms for people who have never experienced mental health conditions before, I feel like it's shining a light on mental health right now and the need that there is for support for those with mental health conditions. And I've been seeing that just being a leader of NAMI on campus and seeing how many people are joining our organization because they know it's something that they need right now, and it's something that they have access to because we have made everything virtual.
And we went to the support group, and the first thing I did when I sat in that group is I saw a lot of people that were hurting, that were suffering, and they were sharing, and they were vulnerable, and they were open. It gave us a place where we could share our anger, our frustration, even where we could talk about how we were starting to fight. The two of us, we weren't unified. It gives you a great community, a great support group with people who are like-minded and just want to do what they can do to help their loved one, and also to help themselves and to understand what that loved one is going through.
Part of the value of the NAMI programs is that in addition to programs for family members, there's general education programs for parents in schools, for faith communities, to be able to get a broader reach so that people have a more general understanding, because it really is very isolating to feel like people don't understand what you're going through. And it's an education issue. People need to at least understand in their heads, even if they don't get it in their heart, that mental health is health, that it's biologically based, and that when people are ill, it's a biological based illness, just like diabetes or anything else that might be going on.
For people who have never had personal experience with a mental health condition before, it can be really hard to truly understand what it's like to live with one unless you have one yourself.
And I believe the direction that NAMI is going is a very positive one. They're continuing to educate, to have new material, to get all kinds of feedback, such as this, going out to encourage people, to let them see that they're not alone, and they won't be alone. We just got to reach back, reach out, and the hand will be there.
We are coming to the close of this special program, and we're hoping that those of you watching feel inspired and celebrated. And NAMI Central Texas is so close to reaching their goal. We just heard that they are within $300 of reaching their donation goal for this year.
Yeah, so it's like 99.99999%.
And it's such a critical time too, because as they mentioned, more people have been seeking out their services during COVID-19 as their virtual programming has allowed more people to participate. And so we know that these funds will be needed in the future to continue mental health programming, both through the pandemic and beyond.
I know that at KXAN, we have even utilized their programming. Karen Reynes, the executive director, who you just saw earlier, she spoke virtually with our staff about the mental health challenges that many of us are facing during the pandemic, because for workers anywhere, it's been tough these last 6-7 months.
And obviously for us as journalists, it's been an incredibly stressful time, but it's not just us as journalists who are stressed out. We've told the stories of so many different teachers and medical workers and first responders who've had unprecedented challenges they've had to face at this point in time that have been affecting their mental health. And this will continue to be an important conversation in the community. And I think it's important to remind folks that the donations can continue today. Today is World Mental Health Day, and it's great to donate, but they can even donate past today into the weeks and even months to come to NAMI.
Right, these programs are going to be so important in the coming months, and every little bit really helps. And we, once again want to invite you to dig deep to support this organization as much as you can and to share what you're doing so more people can learn about this important work. And as you go about your day, remember that NAMI Central Texas supports the 1 in 5
who experience mental illness,
and the 5 in 5 who are affected by it.
You are not alone.
From every corner of the country,
for every age and every background,
we walk.
On the streets or in our hearts.
During this challenging, changing time,
we are united, even when we appear alone.
Mental health is not for some.
Mental health is for all.